Welcome back, beautiful soul, to Softening into Momentum. I'm Miki, and I'm so grateful you've returned for this second step in our journey together. Last week, we discovered that the voice criticizing you might actually be trying to protect you. Today, we're going to explore something even more revolutionary. What if you could listen to that voice without obeying it? What if you could hear it without believing everything it says? Can you stay present without believing everything you hear? I know that question might feel impossible to you right now, especially if you're like I was, so fused with that inner critic that you couldn't tell where you ended and it began. But stay with me, dear one. We're going to learn something beautiful today about the space between hearing and believing. In Buddhism, we have this practice called sati, mindfulness. But it's not the Instagram-worthy, perfectly peaceful mindfulness you might imagine. Sati literally means to remember to be present, to remember that you are not your thoughts, to remember that you have a choice in how you respond. And here's another principle: non-aversion. Not pushing away what's difficult, but not drowning in it either. It's like, imagine you're standing at your front door and someone's knocking. You can hear them. You acknowledge they're there. But you get to choose whether to invite them in for tea or just wave through the window. Your inner critic, it's been camping out on your doorstep for years, maybe decades. And most of us do one of two things. We either fling the door wide open and let it move in, rearrange our furniture, take over our lives, or we deadbolt the door, turn up the music, and pretend we can't hear the knocking, which only makes it knock louder. But what if there was a third option? I discovered this accidentally about 6 months into my sobriety. I was trying to write, working on what would eventually become my memoir, and that voice, it was having a field day. It said, "Who do you think you are? No one wants to read your story. You can't even string a sentence together without sounding pretentious." Usually, I would either believe it completely and close my laptop, or I'd try to fight it with affirmations that felt like lies. But this day, something different happened. Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe it was grace. But instead of fighting or fleeing, I just noticed. "Oh," I said out loud to my empty apartment, "there's that voice again. The one that's scared I'll be rejected." And then something magical happened. The voice kept talking, but it was like someone had turned down the volume, like it was coming from the next room instead of inside my head. I could hear it, but I didn't have to dance to its music. This, sweet soul, is the difference between listening and obeying. between awareness and fusion, between hearing the knock at the door and handing over your house keys. Think about weather for a moment. When it's raining, you don't become the rain. You might get wet. You might need an umbrella. But you remain you, separate from the weather, observing it, responding to it, but not becoming it. Your thoughts, especially those critical thoughts, are just weather passing through the sky of your consciousness. Sometimes it's a gentle drizzle of doubt. Sometimes it's a hurricane of self-hatred. But you, the observer, the one who notices, you are the sky itself. Vast, unchanging, holding space for all of it without becoming any of it. I know this might sound too simple, too good to be true, but I promise you, this small shift from being in the storm to just watching the storm, it changes everything. Let's be real about when this gets hardest. For me, it's during 3 specific times. 1, during conflict. When someone's upset with me, that critic goes into overdrive. See, you're too much, you're not enough, you've ruined everything. The voice that protected me as a child by making me small, by making me apologize first, by making me wrong before anyone else could. Number 2, during creativity. Every time I sit down to write, to coach, to create this podcast, there it is. Who do you think you are? Everyone's already said this better. You're going to sound stupid. This is the voice that learned that staying invisible meant staying safe. And number 3, during rest. Oh, this one's really sneaky. The moment I try to relax, to just be. It says you're lazy, you should be doing more, everyone else is being productive. The voice that internalized every capitalist message about worth being tied to output. And then there's social media, where everyone else's highlight reel becomes evidence for your inner critic's case against you, where comparison isn't just the thief of joy, it's the critic's favorite weapon. These aren't character flaws, dear one. These are patterns. Patterns that once protected you. Patterns that you can notice, acknowledge, and gently work with. So, how do we create this space? How do we learn to observe without absorbing? First, we need to understand something crucial. Suppression does not work. Pushing the critic away, trying to silence it, fighting it, that's just another form of fusion. It's like trying not to think about pink elephants. The moment you try not to think about them, your mind is full of pink elephants doing backflips. Instead, we practice something I call compassionate noticing. We see the thought. We acknowledge it. We might even thank it. but we don't invite it to run our lives. Here's what this might sound like in practice. Your inner critic says, "You're going to fail at this." And you say, "I hear you, voice that's worried about failure. Thank you for trying to protect me from disappointment. I'm going to keep going anyway." Not fighting, not agreeing, just acknowledging and choosing your response. This is the pause I want to talk about. This crucial, sacred millisecond between stimulus and response. Viktor Frankl wrote about it. Buddhist teachers have taught it for thousands of years. That tiny space where choice lives. The critic speaking is the stimulus. Then you go to the pause, and then you choose your response. In that pause, everything is possible. In that pause, you get to decide, do I believe this? Do I need to act on this? Or can I just let it pass through, like weather? And now, beautiful soul, I want to guide you through a practice. This is something you can return to whenever you need to create some space between you and your thoughts. So find a comfortable position. You can close your eyes if that feels good, or just keep them soft and unfocused. Imagine yourself sitting in a comfortable chair in a cozy room. This is your observer's chair, your noticing chair. From this chair, you can see a large window. And through this window, you're going to watch the weather of your mind. Take a breath with me. Inhale and exhale. Now, just notice what thoughts are present right now. Don't try to change them or chase them away. Just watch them through your window, like you'd watch clouds passing or the rain falling. When a thought appears, maybe it's the critic, maybe it's worry, maybe it's planning. See if you can gently label it, not as a judgment, but with recognition. Like, there's the critic voice. There's the worried voice. There's the planner voice. There's the protector voice. There's the wounded voice. Notice how each voice has a different quality. The critic might feel sharp or edgy. The worried voice might feel fluttery and anxious. The wounded voice might feel small, young. You're not becoming these voices. You're just noticing them. Watching them pass by your window. If you find yourself getting pulled out of your chair, pulled into believing or fighting with a thought, just gently return. Just notice, oh, I just left my noticing chair. Let me come back. No judgment, just a gentle return to your observer position. From this chair, you might notice something interesting. The voices come and go. They rise and fall. They have their moment, and then they pass. Just like weather. Just like everything in this impermanent world. And you, the one in the chair, the one noticing, you remain steady, present, choosing what to believe and what to let pass. When you're ready, take a deep breath in through the nose and release out through the mouth. Feel yourself fully in your body, fully present. And gently open your eyes if they were closed. This practice, this noticing, it's not about perfection. You won't always remember to sit in your observer's chair. Sometimes you'll fling open the door and let the critic redecorate your entire inner world before you even realize what happened. That's okay. That's human. But each time you remember, each time you return to that noticing place, you're rewiring something extremely ancient. You're teaching your nervous system that you can hear without obeying. You can acknowledge without absorbing. You can be present with difficulty. without becoming it. I want to share something with you. Even now, 2 years into sobriety, 2 years into this practice, my critic still knocks. Sometimes it pounds on the door, especially when I'm tired or hungry or feeling vulnerable. But here is what's changed. I don't panic anymore when I hear it. I don't believe I need to let it in or board up the windows. I can hear the knocking and just think, oh, hello, old friend. You're scared again. That's okay. I've got this. So, this week, my invitation to you is simple but profound. Practice noticing. When your inner critic speaks, and it will, see if you can pause. Just for a breath. Just for a moment. Create that tiny space between hearing and believing. Notice what voices show up during different parts of your day. What's the morning voice like that lists everything you need to do? The creative voice that says you're not good enough. The nighttime voice that reviews all your mistakes. And the comparison voice that scrolls through social media. Don't try to change them. Just notice them. Label them gently. Watch them like weather. Because here's the truth, beautiful soul. You are not that voice. You are not the weather. You are the vast sky of consciousness itself, capable of holding it all without becoming any of it. Remember our anchor question? Can I stay present without believing everything I hear? The answer is yes. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not always, but yes. Every time you create even a millimeter of space between you and your thoughts, you're reclaiming your power. You're remembering that you get to choose what to believe. You're discovering that the critic at your door doesn't have to run your life. I want to leave you with something a mentor once told me. The voices in your head are like salespeople at your door. You can listen to their pitch without buying what they're selling. Your inner critic is just a very persistent salesperson who's been using the same pitch for years. But you, beautiful soul, you're learning that you can acknowledge the knock, appreciate their dedication, and still choose not to buy what they're selling. Next episode, we'll go even deeper. We'll explore what happens when we offer loving kindness to the very voice that judges us. What happens when we meet criticism with metta? It might sound impossible now, but trust me, it's going to be beautiful. Until then, practice sitting in your noticing chair. Practice watching the weather of your mind. Practice creating that sacred pause between stimulus and response. And remember, The voice at your door has been knocking for so long, it's forgotten there might be another way to communicate. You're going to teach it with patience, with presence, with so much compassion. Awareness itself is a form of healing. That noticing without judgment is a radical act of self-love. And that you, showing up to do this difficult, beautiful work, that's everything. The Softening into Momentum podcast is lovingly curated, created, written, edited, and produced by me, Miki Byrne, with accompanying sound bath frequencies by my good friend, Static. If you would like to dive further into his incredible musical work, please go to YouTube at Static is Noise. If this episode stirred something tender inside of you, if it helped you create even a moment of space between you and your inner critic, please consider sharing it with someone who might need this medicine for their soul. We all know someone wrestling with that harsh inner voice, someone who deserves to discover they're not broken, just human. For deeper exploration, guided practices, and to join our gentle community of souls doing this brave inner work together, you can find me at www.patreon.com/metta-momentum. There, you'll find companion meditations, journaling prompts, and the noticing chair practices to support your journey from inner critic to inner guardian. You can also connect with me through Metta Momentum for one-on-one coaching as we explore these practices slowly, gently, and personally, with space for your lived experience, your tender history, and your emerging wisdom. Until we meet again, may you meet every voice inside you with compassion, and may you offer yourself just a little more kindness than yesterday. Thank you for softening into this moment with me. Namaste.